Hi guys, welcome back to our introduction to practical Python coding in eHealth tutorial for beginners, where we learn about Python coding for digital health or health informatics use. Now in this tutorial, we're gonna learn about numbers in Python. And regardless if you're developing a digital health app or if you're doing health data analysis, you're gonna be working a lot with numbers. So let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is after creating this notebook, it's just gonna name it. It's entitled now, but I name it numbers so that later on we'll remember it. All right, so after you make this numbers, you should see numbers here saved into your folder. That's what it's saved for. All right, let's go back to our screen. Okay, so this is actually where you type in Python code. So let's say if I want 7 plus 4, in order to run this, I hit Shift and Enter. There we go. So now we have the output. So what just happened was I typed in 7 plus 4, and this is run as Python code to output the number 11. So the number 11 was evaluated using Python. So one thing you notice, I put in like a space between 7 and the plus and the plus and the 4. So this space isn't necessary. So let's see if we try it out without the space, 7 plus 4. And again, Shift Enter to run the cell. Again, I get 11. So oftentimes, if you're reading other people's code, you'll see the space between any arithmetic operators. And that's because it makes the code more legible. So if you have a really long equation, if and you don't have space in between, the equation will look pretty bunched up and it's hard to read. And so that's why if you're reading other people's code, people will tend to put a space in between operators. Okay, so this is 7 plus 4. And you notice another thing that Jupyter Notebook does for us is that it evaluated this expression and printed out the output of the result of this expression for us. But it can only actually do that once per cell, so once per this block of code. If we wanted to have multiple, we have to put it inside what's called a print statement. So the way it works is you just type print and add brackets. And then inside the brackets, you ask it to print whatever you want to evaluate. So if I have print 7 plus 4, it'll print 7 plus 4 for me. And I can do it multiple times. So if I did print 7 plus 4, and then I'm going to copy and paste, it'll print 11 twice for me. But if I had two of these together, it'll only give me one of the outputs. So Jupyter Notebook will only take the very first one where it doesn't, if you're not assigning it, we'll get to variables, but it'll only do it once for us without the print. So this is actually pretty important if you're going to health analytics because if you're doing health analytics, you would want one block of Jupyter Notebook to do one single task. And at the end of your task, you want to print out something to visualize that you've done it correctly. And so this is a pretty important concept, the print versus like the naked statements. All right, so other number stuff is let's say, okay, so Python also understands BEDMAS. So if I have, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction, it knows to prioritize multiplication and division. So let's say if I have 2 plus 3 times 5, shift enter, I get 17. So once again, so what it did was it multiplied this together first and added 2, it gets 17. So it understands that. And, you know, we can also put brackets. So 2 plus bracket 3 times 5. So that would also work. Python understands the brackets as well. Note the bracket will always be round bracket. We never use square brackets in arithmetics in Python. Um, and it understands division. So if I have 7 divided by 2, like that, I get 3.5. So one thing you can do in Python is, you see, I get 7 divided by 2, I get 3.5, I get the decimal. But if I just wanted to have, like the 3 here, um, I have to put 7 and then 2 forward slashes, 2. So this will always do 7 divided by 2 and then round down to get 3. Um, So essentially, it's 7 divided by 2. It's 3, remainder 1, right? So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So in order to get the remainder, we can do 7 percent 2. So this percent is called mod. It's the modulus operator in Python. So I press Shift Enter. Get 7 mod 2 is 1. So again, so 7 divided by 2 is equal to 3 plus a remainder of 1. So, and then, so in Python, you can also do exponents. So let's say if I wanted 7 squared, I just do 7 star star 2. So that's 7 squared. I get 49. If I wanted to, you can also put decimals. So 7 to the power of 1.5. That's how you do it. It's 18.5. So that's it for numbers. These are so you can see arithmetics in Python is very similar to just the normal math. Except you just had to put it in the coding language and understand some of the operators. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you.